We are in Salt Lake City area. Those are the snowy Wasatch Mountains, the Wasatch Front. We are going over there to Antelope Island. That is the high point of Antelope Island, called Frary Peak. We're gonna be pushing daylight here, so we do have a headlamp. I think we're gonna go into the dark. And there's some bonus peaks on the ridge, which I plan on hitting. Look at these big bison. So this is called Antelope Island, but there's bison all over the place. I don't know if there's antelope. What up, dude? He's pretty close. There's a whole herd of them all over. They're all over the side of the road. So headed up there. Well, surprisingly, there are like 10 cars in this parking lot, or maybe 8. Our summit is up there, I believe. Maybe it's out of sight, and you can also summit that, and then that's Dooley's Knob, or Dooley Knob. So Frary Peak, Dooley Knob. This is gonna be like 7 point, well, with the, if we bag extra summits, maybe like 8 miles with 2,600 feet of gain. But the main trail to Frary is like 7.2 or 7.3 with 2,300 foot of gain. All right, so we've popped up, I don't know, 400 or 500 feet from the parking. The first 300 are pretty steep, but we're kind of hitting almost like a saddle. And we're gonna go do that summit wherever it is, probably out of sight first, but then I'll go back this way to hit Dooley Knob, which is a couple hundred feet from the saddle. Looks like there's a sign junction probably, but no bison up here, unfortunately, although this could be bison scat. They're all hanging out down low by the beach. So rain's not too bad so far, and it's too hot with my jacket on. All right, so there's Dooley Knob, which I'll hit on the way back. There's a nice sign junction. The trail's super nice, but we're wrapping out of the west side. You get a nice view of the Great Salt Lake here. Much bigger on this side, a lot evaporated. But you got to wrap around this first formation, but then we're going to bend our way at some point back up to the ridge and just follow the ridge more or less. Slightly deviating from it, but this trail's super nice. It was the steepest were like the first 300 feet. Now it's been super tame. So yeah, good view of the Great Salt Lake, which is going to evaporate and kill all of Salt Lake City. Everyone's going to have to move. All right, we've hit the first cool section. We have to work our way through this boulder grotto. Oh, it cuts right through. Easy enough. You could have wrapped low too if you didn't want to walk through those boulders. But we should be cutting up. Sign should be cutting up to the ridge now, and then be on or near the ridge the rest of the time, but we still have quite a bit to go. It's been pretty smooth since the first little quarter mile or so that was steep. Yeah, switching back, making our way up to the ridge. All right, after a fairly long switchback, we have regained the ridge. Once again, looking to the dry east and the much larger body of water to the west. Probably almost halfway up, maybe not quite. We found some bison higher up. We've come around a couple humps. This is Stringham Peak, and then a little higher on the other side is our summit, Frary Peak. So we're getting up there. Probably I don't know, 2/3 to 3/4 of the way up. But we got bison. It's starting to rain a little heavier too. All right, so we've hit another higher saddle up, and I think it's probably by the tower, so probably not this hump. So that's, I believe that's Stringham. And then presumably up by the towers, not much higher, 200-300 feet ahead of us vertically, is Frary. Alright, so this is not the summit with the tower, that's going to be your summit. And it looks like the path bends around to the right, not up the rocky spine. Although that would be cool to just go straight up. Alright, unfortunately from that saddle up there, you have to drop a little bit to the right, to the west, and sort of contour around. We are heading up somewhat steeply, and the rock is a little wet. Took our first steps on snow too. Yeah, looks like we're gonna get around this nose, and then I think it's gonna be an easy walk up. All right, I think this is finally your summit. Frary Peak Summit. There's a USGS big clay tile instead of a marker. I don't know. This looks to be about the high point. Yeah, it's a little lower. I'd like to go the ridge back, although that could get messy. You can see the trail drop there and wrap around. There's a bunch of quail or something, or partridge. And the Wasatch Front is pretty much shrouded in clouds, so you can't see the snowy peaks of the Wasatch. But you can kind of see now the edge of the Great Salt Lake. Not as much as you could before. The one climb of the day, there's 3 bighorn sheep on the slope. It's the second animal sighting, if you don't count birds. So almost back up a little, I don't know what it is, 7,500 foot climb back to the ridge, and then should be pretty smooth sailing all the way down. All right, we're going to bag Stringham Peak. Hardly off trail at all. There's almost a use path, but it'll add a couple tenths of a mile and maybe, you know, 100 feet of vert. Not a lot. I don't know if it's this bump, it might be beyond, but it has a name on the map, so might as well summit it and officially count it. I've never actually counted up how many summits I have, by the way. One of these days I'll do that for you all. All right, 1 minute later, we are on top of Stringham Peak. Another summit in the books. Kind of a rock ring. Doesn't appear to be a marker. The views are getting a little bit clearer now, again. That's cool. That's where we just were. Still can't see the Wasatch Front, but now you can see more of the lake, or across the lake. So that's cool. It's heading down about halfway down or so. Kind of just left the ridge. We'll go through that little rock grotto and then regain it over by Dooley and go up Dooley. But we have at least an hour of daylight, probably a little more, so I think we're fine to put in. Probably got like 2 miles left or something. Maybe a little over if we count the Dooley summit, but yeah, it's weird. The fog rolls in, you have no visibility, and then all of a sudden you get it back across the lake. All right, so we're back to the junction here, and we are gonna head, I think it's about an extra 0.4 miles each way, with like a good, I don't know, 250 feet of vert up to Dooley. So here we go. It looks like there's like almost a road all the way up, and then maybe it gets rocky right at the very top, but this should be pretty tame. And then we have, I don't know, less than a mile, I think, from this point back to the car. The weather's held off, still got plenty of daylight, so it'll be our third little summit of the day. Dooley Knob. Make sure you duly note the trail junction. Alright, this might as well have been a road up to the top. It's gotten steeper at the top, but no matter. Ooh, do we get to step on rocks? I think so. High point, I think, is right here. Dooley Knob. Yeah, got him. That's it. Whew. Little slick up here. There's the car down there, so not too far to go. Like I said, about 1.3 miles maybe. Whew. It's pretty slick up here. There's your Great Salt Lake, the bigger part. There's the peaks that we were just on. Alright, that'll do it. Antelope Island has officially been dominated. Did not see any antelopes. Do not know the origin of that name. Someone lost a glove. It's probably about 8 miles with maybe 2,600 feet of gain. 2 peaks up there, and then that guy up there. So, little drizzle, not too bad. It's gonna get dark in the next probably 30 minutes.